Hello, welcome back to the Nook. I'm Daniel, and today is not going to be a review. Today is actually going to be an anticipated releases video. So what this means is I'll be talking about book releases that are coming out soon. Even one of them already came out Tuesday. So I'll be discussing who the author is, what their series is, and the book I'm looking forward to, and kind of give a bit of a plot synopsis. And I'm going to go through each book so far in the series. So we'll get started with the one that just came out was The Fury of the Gods in the Bloodsworn Saga. It's a trilogy by John Gwynne. This is book one, Shadow of the Gods, which I'm currently rereading. And then we have book two, which is The Hunger of the Gods. And the book that just came out Tuesday is The Fury of the Gods. So John Gwynne has quickly become one of my favorite authors when it comes to writing combat. The combat in his stories are amazing, and he has his first series, The Faithful and the Fallen, was more Celtic fantasy, whereas Bloodsworn trilogy is Norse-inspired, kind of like Vikings. So the story behind the Bloodsworn is about these gods that were in the world. Their bones were left after they died, and these people, there's warring tribes. You know what? It would just be easiest if I just read to you the back of the first book, which is what I'm currently reading. When the gods fought, it was a battle so savage they destroyed themselves, leaving nothing but their bones and the broken land of Vigrid in their wake. Now, as whispers of war echo over the fjords and across the plains, fate follows in the footsteps of three warriors, a huntress on a perilous quest, a noble woman pursuing battle fame, and a thrall seeking retribution among the mercenaries known as the Bloodsworn. All three will change the course of the world as it once more falls under the shadow of the gods. So, yeah, there's kind of these main perspectives. Each chapter is a different perspective. It's really cool because one of them is actually a mom, which you don't often see in fantasy, although there are a couple stories with mothers. Yeah, like I said, the combat's amazing. The story's great. So I haven't finished the series. Fury of the Gods just came out. So I've read the first two before, and now I'm rereading them again because I believe I read The Hunger of the Gods back in 2022. So I just need a refresher. So I'm rereading Shadow of the Gods and then Hunger of the Gods. And from what I've heard, Fury of the Gods is really amazing. For the people who got to read it already, there's even people who got it early. Yeah, apparently it's a great conclusion, and John Gwynne is an amazing author, and I love his combat. So if you want to read John Gwynne, I would say you could start with Bloodsworn, which is available, all of it's available now, or you could start with The Faithful and the Fallen, but you don't start with Of Blood and Bone. Of Blood and Bone is a trilogy that's hundreds of years after The Faithful and the Fallen, but Bloodsworn you could just pick up at any time. So that's about all I'll say about that series. I still have more to get through. So now we're going to talk about Tad Williams with The Last King of Osten-Ard, starting with The Heart of What Was Lost. This is a novella that takes place after the first series. So Tad Williams' first series is called Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. And this novella that I just showed you is sort of a novella that takes place before the first book in the second series, The Last King of Osten-Ard. So Tad Williams has really good prose, good writing. It's not what I would call action-packed throughout. The pacing kind of starts slower. All I've read by Tad Williams is Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, which is supposed to be a trilogy, but the one I have, he split the third book into two parts, although you can get one that just has the whole trilogy. So yeah, Tad Williams is really good. He's got really good lore. He's the closest I've found in modern fantasy to Tolkien as far as having songs and whatnot. So I'll just show you, there's also this book here, Brothers of the Wind, which I am told you can read after reading the second book in The Last King of Osten-Ard. So I would read the first book, would be The Heart of What Was Lost, and I wouldn't read this one right away, but I just held it up because it's on my stack. So the first official book after The Heart of What Was Lost is The Witchwood Crown, which is this big chunker right here. And I have never read this. I've only read Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. From what I've been told, it takes place many years after Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn. Yeah, I can't say too much about it if you haven't read it, but I would say check out Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn first. And I'll just show you the other books. This is a beautiful cover. This Empire of Grass, this is book 2. It's just a really beautiful cover. I really like this. And then the third book here is Into the Narrow Dark. And then the fourth book is called The Navigator's Children, and it's coming out November 12th. So just to let you know, Fear of the Gods came out October 22nd. And The Navigator's Children comes out November 12th. And so, yeah, those are those books. I highly recommend. He has really beautiful prose. It's epic fantasy without being super action-packed, but I think the prose makes it worth it. And I would say Tad Williams is a great author. If you like Lord of the Rings, I think you'll like his work. So yeah, start with Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn, and then read. It's a good time to read The Last King of Austin R because it is almost completed. So yeah, that's all I'll say about that. And the final one, the one that I'm most stoked for, is from this author, Brandon Sanderson, Stormlight Archive. This is The Way of Kings. You have to understand, this is over 1,000. This is like 1,200 pages, and it's only the first book. And there are currently 4 books that are all pretty much this size. So I've been reading The Way of Kings 20 pages a night just to kind of chip away at it before the release of the 5th book. And yeah, I'm just 900 pages in now. This isn't going to take me too much longer. So I'm rereading all of Stormlight leading up to book 5, which is called Wind and Truth. But this is book 1, The Way of Kings. It's really good. It's kind of a book that deals with, it's very epic. It's on an epic scale. I mean, it's hard to explain really, but it's the Shattered Plains is this landscape where there was gods that fought, and it's kind of complicated. I can't really get into it. But Brandon Sanderson is quickly becoming one of the best modern authors of all time. His world building, his magic systems are really good. So this involves Stormlight. That's why it's called the Stormlight Archive. People can draw energy from the light trapped in gems from storms and use it to basically use magic in combat. And they have shard blades, which are swords that form from mist. It's really epic. So I'll just show you. This is The Way of Kings. And then book 2, which is a lot of people's favorites, is this. This is huge. This is Words of Radiance, which I really love. And then book 3, this one is not as popular. It's called Oathbringer. And I personally love Oathbringer. I thought it was great, but a lot of people didn't care for it. And then book 4, which was kind of mixed. Some people like it, some people don't. This is Rhythm of War. So yeah, this one's just an epic series dealing with a lot of action and excitement and battles. And I will say The Way of Kings, just as a warning, if you're going to get into it, The Way of Kings has a slow start. There's like a couple of prologues at the beginning, and there's not a lot of action at the start. But once The Way of Kings gets going, like where I am right now, my reread, it gets really good. And so yes, so Wind and Truth, book 5 of the Stormlight Archive, comes out December 6th. And it is the end of the first arc of Stormlight. So there's going to be 5 more books in Stormlight. There's going to be a 10-book series in total. So I'm just saying there's a lot to read still. I've been reading them as they come out, and it's been one of my favorite fantasy experiences. So yes, I will say Stormlight Book 5, Wind and Truth, is my most anticipated book of this year, and I can't wait to get it. Yeah, so those are the series, the books that I've been anticipating. One of them's out already, and I've been really enjoying the reread of the first one. And yeah, that's about all I'll say. But if you want to check any of these out, leave a comment which ones interest you. And remember to like and subscribe. And remember, you're always welcome at the Nook. Bye.